Welcome back to Tonight on Breaking. It's now 21 weeks to the 2023 general elections and INEC is in the hot seat. INEC, that's our Independent Electoral Commission, recently came out to say that in the process of cleaning up the voter register, they have delisted 1.1 million fresh registrants so far ahead of the 2023 general elections. More will likely be delisted as they continue the voter register cleanup. Twitter, of course, went crazy and it didn't take long for the conspiracy theories to start flying around. In response to this, INEC did the most logical thing. They launched INECtv. INECtv is a broadcast that they posted on their YouTube channel, possibly to try to control the messages that people are getting about PVCs and the upcoming election. One of their first posts was an update on the cleaning up of the voter register. In the YouTube video, Festus Okoye, INEC National Commissioner, gave a rundown of the schedule of activities that INEC has completed so far. And then he said this.
Now, the law obligates the Commission, after the conduct of CVR, to display the voters' register for what we call claims and objections. But we are yet to do that. We are yet to do that because we conducted the continuous voters registration exercise, and as at this moment, we are cleaning up the register to remove double and multiple registrants.
Now, INEC, we love you. We appreciate everything you're doing for us. But you're confusing us because on August 18 and August 19, you posted the following notices about the display of the preliminary register of voters on your Facebook page. So if you already did a display of preliminary voters registration back in August for people to review and request changes, what display are we doing again? Then the INEC commissioner goes on to say that when this second display happens, people should go and check to make sure their own registration has been captured and that the details like name and the date of birth are correct. By the way, if anyone wants to steal anyone's identity, just show up to the voter register display because our personal information will be there for anyone to copy. But not only is the INEC commissioner expecting you to check on your own registration, he wants you to check others as well.
Also expect members of the public to take a critical look at the register that we are going to display. One, to see whether the underage registrants were registered. And if underage persons were registered, they can make an objection or make a claim, and then we'll remove such names from the voters' register. There's also a possibility that there are some people who have passed on, and it is only members of the various communities that we know who has passed on. They can provide evidence that so and so person has passed on, and then we remove the name of that person from the voters' register.
I'm sorry, INEC. Again, we appreciate you. But you proposed a budget of over 305 billion naira for this election and you want us to do what? That's over $750 million. Why can't you match the fingerprints in the registrations to the prints in the NIN database to detect underage voters? Why can't you coordinate with the National Population Commission to delist anyone that has a death certificate filed with them? Instead, you want us to bring out our dead. Really? Moving on Thursday last week, an opinion poll predicting the winner of the 2023 presidential election was released by NOI Polls. The result of the polls showed Peter Obi emerging as the winner with 21% of voters proposing to vote for him. APC presidential candidates Bola Asiwaju Tinubu and PDP's candidate Atiku Abubakar are closely behind, tying in second place with 13% each. Coming in at number 4 is NNPP's candidate Rabiu Kwankwaso with 3%. So what this implies is, if an election were held today, based on this result, Peter Obi would emerge as the winner. However, the result also showed that about 33% of the respondents were undecided, while another 15% refused to disclose who they would vote for. So basically, we don't know what nearly half of the voters will do. So other than confirming that Kwankwaso will likely not be our next president, that poll was useless. Now, to sway voters to their side, the presidential candidates are each developing different techniques. Tinubu, the silent eagle, is leaning more towards gathering the votes of the people at the grassroots. A few weeks ago, he went to Jigawa to donate millions to flood victims. This past weekend, he went to Gombe and attended Governor Muhammadu Yahaya's son's wedding. And he also visited the Emir of Gombe, Abubakar Shehu Abubakar, where he might have fallen asleep halfway through the meeting, but he still visited. Meanwhile, Atiku Abubakar seems to be targeting young voters and has been meeting with influencers and social media content creators who have millions of followers on different social media platforms. Peter Obi seems to be focused on getting his name out there by granting interviews with high-profile media and getting youth on social media behind him. Rabiu Kwankwaso at this point is just collecting anybody who is willing to join his party NNPP. Young people, old people, dead people, any people. And he's very popular in Kano. We just have to wait and see whose technique will pay off in February. Moving on, last weekend, the vice presidential candidate of the APC, Kashim Shettima, came under fire on social media for his speech at the 96th anniversary celebration of Yoruba Tennis Club in Lagos. In this speech, Shettima highlighted the qualities Nigerians must look out for in the next president and asserted that Tinubu embodies certain attributes of previous leaders like Olusegun Obasanjo, Ibrahim Babangida, and Abdulsalami Abubakar. And he even highlighted this quality from Sani Abacha.
We need a leader with a dose of ruthlessness and taciturnity of a Sani Abacha.
But to be clear, he said we need a leader with a dose of ruthlessness and taciturnity like Sani Abacha. But by the time our news outlets copied and pasted the news report from each other, they had converted ruthlessness and taciturnity into hospitality. Sun News Online was the first media outlet that we could find which misquoted Shettima as saying we need a leader with a dose of the hospitality of a Sani Abacha. And the rest of the news outlets simply copied and pasted. And before we knew it, social media was dragging Shettima for saying something he did not actually say. By the way, how do you confuse ruthlessness and taciturnity with hospitality? They are not even closely related. In response to being dragged for something he did not say, Shettima came out and released a series of tweets. Here's some of what he had to say, and I quote, "The video of my speech in Lagos is out there for those sincerely curious. I never attributed hospitality to Abacha in my speech. I did a rundown of our past presidents and played up the taciturnity and a dose of ruthlessness of Sani Abacha to show we need strong men to deal with the non-state actors who have turned Nigeria into a vast killing field. Yes, we need to criticize the media for misquoting Shettima. But now, let's focus on what Shettima has said and has been saying. So far, we have Shettima telling us he would lead the troops into battle in his own country. And by the way, he will increase the number of troops from 213,000 to 960,000. Then we have him telling us that we need strong men to lead this country to deal with the security issues. And he believes that nice men do not make good leaders. If you're still wondering what Shettima is trying to tell you about what will happen under a Tinubu Shettima presidency, then keep wondering. While you're wondering, I'm going to go to buy stocks in China's arms companies. Lastly, on Saturday afternoon in Zamfara State, the Nigeria Air Force conducted an air raid killing at least 12 fighters and relatives of the notorious terror kingpin Bello Turji during a naming ceremony at his house. If you remember, back in August, Zamfara state government came out to tell us that Bello Turji, who has been terrorizing the state for years, had repented and embraced peace. Now, the Nigerian Air Force just didn't buy this plane. They are not going to be fooled twice, so they bombed his location, but apparently he ran away before the attack. According to Daily Trust, Bello and some of his close associates left the house for the afternoon prayer before the bomb dropped, so he escaped. Nigeria Air Force, we love you. We appreciate everything you are doing for us. Here's the timetable for prayers just for next time. That's all for tonight on Breaking. I'm John Iwodi. If you want to know more about how INEC can possibly delist 1.1 million fresh registrants, listen to our latest episode of The Backstory where we break it down in detail. Presidential campaign starts next week. Keep doing your homework. Thank you.